What I would love from you is to tell me if you have read any of these books or the first books if it's a series, so I can then properly judge where about in my TBR and the priority list to pop them in or just keep in mind. I think this year is the best year for not spending money on new books to add to the library. I think doing the shelf help really has helped me just focusing on reading what I already have. Whilst we do this, I'm gonna try and log them on my Storygraph as well, so I keep on top of that. And then we also can snoop the current ratings to see what to expect. First book is the sequel to A Fate Inked in Blood, and I know this is one of the books that I think the last spring equinox of Magical Readathon, there were so many people reading that, and I think loads of people enjoyed it. So this is the sequel of the book, like 3.9 average for both the first and the second, I believe. I'm just showing you the edition details if you want to have a little look. I know that a lot of people had a great time with the first one, hence why I did want to get the second one. That being said, how good of a time did you have? And do you think I would enjoy it? Like, summary in short for the first one is a shield maiden blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under power, hungry king, while also fighting her growing desire for his fiery son. Next one is Bitten, and I got this because I really like the cover, I'm not gonna lie. The werewolf trope in general, I should really fess up that I've been keeping a secret. I will make a video about it at some point for all of the books that I didn't tell you I read. Not like on purpose, it's just that, as you'll see very clearly from my upload schedule, I've just not been very up with it this year. But I've read some books that just didn't make it in any of the videos because it's not part of the project. But finally, I believe, dabbled in what I would consider romantasy, because I know it's like romantasy is like categorized as pretty much everything these days because it's a selling word. Questionable choice for the first one considering the tropes that I personally really struggle with, which hilarious choice on my part. Anyway, it wasn't this one, but it's funny because it also includes werewolves. With wolves and werewolves, I feel like the biggest ick for me is the male-female jargon as well as the alpha-beta dynamics, which, you know, granted, it is literal and I can kind of like excuse it more in the actual setting where it is based on animal behavior, but a challenge for me, a challenge. Anyway, Bitten seems to be a story about a girl who loses her best friend, I believe, to like a wolf attack, and then not long after actually herself changes into the wolf. And then have to, of course, make some choices whether to join a court or I mean, I think the other alternative is death, so really it's not particularly a hard choice to make, but there's clearly other choices to be made in the story. And you know what? It's a whole new world and it's sometimes fun. So I thought I would give this a go at some point as well, but let me check. What is the current verdict on Storygraph for this? 3.82, which is not too bad, but it also only has like 300 reviews at the moment on Storygraph. If you read it though, you know what to do. You know what to do. Okay, next is The Fallen City, or just Fallen City actually, by Adrienne Young. I have actually read one of the books and I believe it was called Something in the Sky. No, Sky in the Deep. That one was kind of a Viking-inspired one, and this one, I want to say Greek, but I actually don't know. Really beautiful design, and I love the entire theme of this. And again, fallen for it, because I am weak that way sometimes. I do like myself some art. This is a trade cover, which I do prefer this one for sure. It's like very vibey. This is an adult one. I don't remember if this is the first one in the adult category for the author. It does sound a little bit more political, that we are on the cusp of a war 100 years in the making, because obviously something happens and the conflict, of course, follows into the story. Legionnaire falls in love with Magistrate's daughter, and then their love will threaten the fate of the city and the will of the gods. I want to say that the gods were also, like ancient gods, were also kind of a big theme in the Sky and the Deep. I did enjoy it when I read it. I don't know if I would now, but I'm also curious to see how the author has kind of like evolved since then as well, because obviously that was years and years ago. It does currently have 3.78, so I feel like that's like not bad, but not great. So sounds a little bit risky, but I'm very be very curious to hear your thoughts. You know what? I actually really love this excuse to talk to you about books while I actually log them into the app. It makes me feel very productive. I'm enjoying this dynamic right here. Staying kind of on theme with politics and whatnot, the next one is an epic fantasy and it's called The Tower of the Tyrant. Love, love, love this design. I love the detail in this. It's so stunning. And we have the same kind of like continuation on the edge. I love myself some line art designs. Map hardback. Beautiful. And of course some Moody in papers. This is, as most epics are, chunky. Currently has a 4.09 rating, which is really, really high, but mind you, 20 reviews. It is a very recent release though, so this is also probably why. I like the little lines here at the bottom. Fellowship is stronger than isolation. The past will come back to haunt you. Nothing stays secret forever. Our main character, who is kind of like on a quest to find ancient beings who are called First Folk, but then gets sidetracked or pulled in to investigate a king's murder? Death of its king. Doesn't say murder. Presuming though. And then she's faced with like the threats from both the living and the dead. So very intriguing. This one is going to be probably one that Logan reads before me. He is very fast and very keen on epic books. He's had a great year of reading just like massive chunky books, but it works out for me as well because he loves to sink his teeth into really massive books and he knows my taste very well. I know his taste very well. They don't like 100% align, but we know what each other likes and what to recommend and what not to recommend. For the most part, we're correct. But you know what? It works out so beautiful because he can test these for me. So this one's gonna go into that pile, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, you know, when the Royals had like a food tester. If you're watching, Logan, that's what you are. Now, To Cage the Wild Bird is also a very recent release, but I am so excited for this because it seems to be bringing out, well, not this book specifically, but this book is inside of the wave of bringing back dystopians into the sphere. I feel like I've been seeing a movement towards that for a little while, and now it's like fully taking on, and I actually really hope it stays because, at least for a little while, I know like, it's the trends, they come and go. But I hope that this one lingers for a little bit longer because I love myself a dystopia, you guys know. I feel like this is like when the fantasy dips its toes into sci-fi without people booing and throwing tomatoes. Because, you know, I love sci-fi, but it is a harder sell. It is a more specific niche. People who read fantasy don't necessarily read sci-fi, but you will rarely find someone who only reads sci-fi and does not dip into the fantasy. You get me. Basically, I feel like this is sci-fi in disguise a lot of the time, just dystopia in general, to me at least. Anyway, I hope that it sticks around. I really enjoy it normally. So yeah, this one is called To Cage a Wild Bird. I will show you all of the whistles. Really, really vibey. Also very funny for me to see a Glock in a fantasy every single time that happens. I don't know why, but it really makes me giggle. And there's also like a different cover here. It's not the trade one, it's the third secret option. A deadly prison, a forbidden romance, a fight for survival. In the city of Dividium, the law is simple. Commit a crime and your punishment is a life sentence in Endlock. Raventhorn is Dividium's most notorious bounty hunter living on the edge of society, but when her younger brother Jed is sentenced to Endlock, Raven will do anything to save him, even if it means getting herself arrested. Trapped in a prison where danger lurks around every corner, Raven must use all her cunning and strength to protect Jed and herself if she is to complete her perilous mission, but there's one obstacle she never expected: the prison guard who stirs something deep inside her. The man she should hate, the man whose true motive seems impossible to pin down. It's giving Prison Break. I don't know if a prison break and prison setting is anything that I would actually really enjoy. I don't think I've had a lot of experience, so this would be an interesting dabble for me actually. 3.9 and almost has 1,000 reviews, which is actually really good considering it literally just came out. This one is a Fairlight edition, but Fairlight or not, I would have gotten this either way. It is kind of like a sequel, but I think a loose sequel. I don't think you necessarily need to read. Like, it's one of those kind of like sister novels. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, and this is, the first one is oh my god, the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, I want to say. And I really enjoyed it when I read it. It was now a while back, but I had a really good time. I think it was one of the first cozy reads that I have read. This is kind of like an ombre edge to, and a cute little design on here. And it sounds adorable. It's about Sarah who lost her powers because she resurrected her recently dead aunt and now just helps her run the inn until she finds an old scroll that could maybe get her powers back. There's also a talking fox, which very excited about. There's a little fox here. There's a handsome magical historian called Luke, and, you know, shenanigans ensue, and I'm very excited. I feel like this would be a perfect kind of like when the mood strikes. I don't know when it will strike, but I know it will eventually. 4.14! Almost 18,000 reviews. That is very high. Very, very excited now, even more. That feels validating. If you read both, can you let me know if the second one is even better? That is what I'm interested in hearing. Lastly, Once a Villain. I want to say this is the third and final book. Yes, correct. Of the Only a Monster trilogy. I have read Only a Monster. I haven't continued yet. I don't know whether to do it or not. Drifted through the second half, but I don't know if it was like bad timing, but it has time stuff. And you guys know how I feel about time stuff, and I'm a sucker for it. What can I say? But this is the third one, and obviously I had to get it just in case I am gonna come back to that. It looks super, super, super stunning. It's kind of like a combination of a little bit of a... Well, it's not a thriller, but, you know, something happens and you're trying to figure out who did what. I think maybe the main character's family gets murdered and then she doesn't know why. But there's time stuff. That's all I remember. This is what I mean, like I would actually really need to either read a recap or give it another go. The rating is 3.72, but I think it is recent, but it is kind of, maybe it's like a little bit more on the mixed side. So let me know about the entire ordeal. I really want to like it, but I also need to maybe hear your thoughts first before I make a decision on whether I'm gonna where I'm going from here. Sounds Like Love, which is like by the same author that wrote 7 Year Slip and Dead Romantics. That can't be right. Something like that though. Anyway, I read the one with the ghost. I don't know if there's more with the ghost though. This one seems to be very music focused. From the synopsis, it was a little bit vague as to what it is, but the main character's parents like shut their kind of music store. She has this melody stuck in her head, and then a man enters the shop and they have like telepathy or something, and they both disagree with each other on every type of situation and decision, but they have to work together in order to get this like song out of their head. I don't know if this sounds like the strongest type of synopsis to me, but I also know people who really just like her books in general and writing and everything, and I only gave one a go, so I should really try and read a couple more. And I think I struggle a little bit with like music themes in general. I do prefer to listen to my music, I feel, rather than discuss it. Cute title though. 4.06 average rating, which is really high actually. I wonder if this is higher than the one that I've read. The Dead Romantics, it was that one. That one's 4.01. Still very high. Slightly lower, so. Then we have Doing Time, which was actually a gift, and Ellen sent this to me. Thank you very much. Obviously has to do with time, so, you know, she knows my taste, for sure. I just love that the synopsis already starts a long time ago in the future. Sign me the fuck up. The secret of time travel become known to all. I know it's really frustrating when people just read off the back, but like, this one is just fun, okay? So bear with me. A long time ago in the future, the secret of time travel became known to all. Unsurprisingly, the world nearly ended. There will always be idiots who want to change history. Enter the Time Police, an all-powerful international organization tasked with keeping the timeline straight at all costs. Their success is legendary. The time wars are over, but now they must fight to save a very different future, their own. This is the story of Jane, Luke, and Matthew, the worst recruits in Time Police history, or very possibly 3 young people who might change everything. It just sounds like a great time. It is a little bit long, like it's a little bit shy of 500 pages. don't know how easy it is to be read, but time stuff, so I'm very, very excited. Let me check what the... Do you guys like Storygraph? Because I'm conflicted. I don't think I love the interface, but now I've put all of this effort into it. I don't think there's a way back for me. Oh, it's 4.1 average. Hell yeah. And 1.5k basically reviews, so not like that little. Okay, now the next book I actually have had in the past, and I think I then gave it away a couple of years ago, like good couple of years ago. But I recently attended a kind of a secret book date exchange for a in-person book club. I got this book again. Someone there did say that they read this recently and they still haven't stopped thinking about it, so maybe it is actually really worth a read. Maybe it was meant to find its way back to me. But it's Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, and I do think this is like a slice of life type of situation. The blurb says a story about the very worst and very best the humans are capable of, funny, brave, and utterly devastating. I think this book is basically about this quiet monotony of being stuck in your ways, being content with everything, but not ever feeling fulfilled with anything. It's my guess from the blurb on the back, which again is 2 sentences long, 3 maybe sentences long and very vague, but I know this is a very popular book, so a lot of you probably have read it. Let me know if it's worthwhile, if it found me back for a reason or not so much. It does have 4.18 average and oh my god, 158,000 reviews. Okay. Next, I got Uncharmed because I read Rewitched for Autumn Equinox. Absolutely devoured, love, was a perfect cozy read. It didn't focus too much on romance, had a lot of like found family, best friends type of vibes, was very wholesome, and the entire thing was just delicious. So I got the second one. I actually did read like 20 pages of it when I thought I'm going to continue immediately after. It kind of sizzled down. I think I need to wait for the mood to strike, but this one is following another girl from the Coven. I think it actually is before the events happen of the other one, but it's unrelated. It's the same world. It's just like a sister novel again. She's a baker. Everything is perfect until the Coven assigns like a troubled teenage for her to mentor. I don't actually know what happens or what's up. I do know that Lucy has signed like a deal for more books as well, so there's definitely a third one. She's definitely writing that. Super happy for her. And like special memories because I got this in October when I was attending the ITV Awards. I feel like a clerical error led me to be nominated there, but very excited to be included. So it just has like extra memories assigned to that as well. Okay, the last 3 books are the newest ones. You'll know this by the fact that they are festive Christmas themed. One of them is our December Patreon book club read, which is very exciting. Very unusual for us as well. It's like kind of a rogue choice. The other 2 are the ones that I picked up in the bookstore recently and have actually zero clue if they're popular or unpopular or badly rated or well rated at all. And I did get myself bamboozled because I think it was in the section that was close to the other one, so I thought it was Christmas themed, but actually it isn't. I thought it was, I don't know, it's the red cover maybe in the section that in fact, it actually is absolutely nothing to do with Christmas, which is a little bit upsetting. Very yellow underneath. But I did pick up this one because I flicked through it. It has one of those unusual formattings where I think it's like dialogue, logs or something like that, interviews maybe, but it appeals to me 10 times out of 10. So hoping this was gonna be like a fun thriller mystery thing to read. What's it called? The Killer Question. I think it's actually about a pub quiz and someone who keeps winning and figuring out why they win. I don't even know if there is a murder in this one. Actually, it might just be, I don't know. But it has a 4.11 rating, so that's not too bad. Well, it's really good actually, but excited to find out. It's just not Christmassy. For why? Feel bamboozled. The book club is the most wonderful crime of the year, and it does follow 2 people. One of them is a cozy mystery writer, and the other one is like the kind of generic, oh sorry, I shouldn't say generic, but like your usual thriller guy. They both get invited into this like Christmas at the English country estate of a reclusive fan. Why would they accept this? Unclear. maybe for the plot. The invitation itself is like cryptic, and I think there is definitely a murder there, and both of them obviously have to work together to solve it without murdering each other, because of course they cannot stand each other. It just sounded like a fun time, and also again not our usual type of read, which is sometimes fun to also branch out. I've not yet heard any verdicts on this. I think it's still a little bit early for people to read for the book club. It does have a 4-star rating and 22,659 reviews. That's actually much higher than I thought. I thought this was like not a very known book. Proves me wrong. And then the last one is actually Christmassy, so didn't get bamboozled by this one. It's called The Christmas Cracker Killer. I mean, the clue was in the title. Very cheerful, thrillery cover. Festive red underneath, very on brand. Seems quite bite-sized, which I think is something that I currently need. I've been really buried under 600 plus reads recently. Some of them are absolutely fantastic though, so I'm actually not complaining, but I do feel like I need a little bit of balance with like some shorter books in between. Again, it's pretty much standard. A character stays in a hotel, there's a murder in the hotel, and then they have to solve it. I think this character is puzzle compiler and a former Christmas skeptic. And then more guests begin to die, and it is up to Eddie to solve the strange riddles found in the victim's Christmas crackers. So a little bit like thematic. It's interesting that this is like a thing, like Christmas murders. It's just like a cheerful thing pick up to read to relax around their holidays, you know, and clearly one of them. So thrillers is actually not a genre that I read a lot of, but whenever I do, I have a good time, and I feel like I need to make a conscious effort to perhaps read a little bit more of those. Sometimes it's just like a kind of inertia boost you want in your reading, especially because of course they have to have a high intrigue. That's like the entire selling point. So, and then you can kind of see if you can guess who done it, which I can also see the appeal of. Ooh, this one's a bit lower, 3.78. Only has 67 reviews. Actually, logging the books has been very educational because I thought this is gonna have like 67 reviews, but this one maybe just came out though. Yeah, I think so. Interesting. Have you heard of it? Are you gonna pick it up? I don't know if you should. This is not a recommendation, but this is what I got. But that is my rough current haul because it has spanned through, I don't know, 3-4 months at least. We'll just wrap it up. Let me know if you've read any of these or if they are on your TBR. Genuinely do want to know your thoughts on them. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you with the next one, hopefully sometime sooner rather than later. Okay, bye guys!